Good afternoon, everybody. So this question on a previous publication encouraged me to record the following podcast on the accuracy of temperature measurements made by scientists of the ocean water and why they're important in making decisions on the future health of our planet. So a single measurement should never, of course, be taken as straight gospel, but credible scientists justly measuring the same phenomenon multiple times and then using this to comment on the future of ocean warming will be far from guessing. By using a variety of methods to measure this, scientists can create accurate models on the past, current, and future states of the ocean. The following information was largely gathered through mathematical ecologist Professor Anthony Richardson, so I'd recommend checking his work out, which I've attached a reference to at the end of the slideshow. So in an effort to conserve biodiversity, marine scientists conduct research into all marine habitats. This research, of course, includes measuring and studying the temperature changes of the ocean. There are around 6 ways of doing this, which are all listed here. And they're all used by scientists in an effort to conclude knowledge about the ocean and climate change. So the first of these is ship-based temperatures, whereby ships collect the temperature of the water quite close to the sea level, so they don't go very deep for that. There are also moored buoys, which are here, which remain in a fixed location, and expendable bathythermographs, which is this thing here. And those are pretty small and relatively inexpensive devices that are shot from on board a ship, and then they send data back to the boat through a wire. So satellites in space can also be used to measure the surface temperature of the ocean. Meanwhile, Argo floats, which is this thing here, can move down to 2,000 meters below sea level. And finally, the method of temperature measurement that I think funniest is using seals to carry temperature measuring devices in cold places, which is this little thing up here. And they go places where Argo floats can't. And so despite the multitude of devices that I've just introduced to you, as I'm sure you can imagine, every method poses their own issues. So for instance, ship-based temperatures, which have been used since the 1800s, have shown to be inaccurate due to the equipment available at the time, and have since been adjusted by current scientists to the correct value, which is that red line up there. And it's higher than they previously thought. So despite this adjustment, the temperature of the ocean remains to be rising substantially since these measurements were taken. And then moored buoys, while very accurate, can't move and they're expensive to place. Satellites, meanwhile, pose the issue that they can only measure the surface temperature, which is going to be, of course, affected by the weather of that day. And they're also expensive and litter space. And then expendable bathythermographs pose the issue of ocean litter and can't cover much area. Argo floats also pose the issue of littering the ocean, and they're very expensive to produce. And on top of this, they can't measure in areas with ice, which is, of course, where the seals come into play. So the devices placed on top of seals' heads litter the ocean, but they have been passed as ethical as they don't interfere with the animals' well-being. So while a multitude of issues is raised by these devices, the accuracy in measurement of the temperature is undeniable. And even when a device can't reach certain areas of the ocean for extensive coverage, another can. And by combining all of these, they all show the same data, that the oceans have been warming up for at least a century and will continue. So scientists also measured the concentration of different species of plankton, which can be used to determine ocean warming temperatures. By this, I mean that plankton with a warm water preference is now the dominating species, and plankton which preferred cooler temperatures, which previously dominated the ocean, have severely decreased in concentration. This can therefore also be tied to an increase in ocean temperatures. Additionally, this poses an issue to marine biodiversity, as the warm water plankton supports the health of fewer fish. Similarly, a harmful algal bloom called Noctilucus scintillans, which is this thing here, has spread due to an increase in ocean temperatures, which also endangers the livelihood of many species. So in conclusion, there's a plethora of evidence that points toward the ocean warming, such as various measurements implemented by scientific tools, and then measurements from the concentration of different plankton and their preferred habitats. So I hope this has answered the previous query about whether or not oceans are warming up and that there's no remaining doubt about this. But thank you for tuning in today and have a good afternoon.